Hey, True Believers, England teen here. So we're at it. Hello. God damn it. Hey, guys. My sound was off. I must have hit the button when I moved it here. Thankfully, this is the first 10 seconds on what everybody's going to see whenever they do the preview for it. Alrighty, so let me start off. Keke Palmer's pretty damn fine. She is a gorgeous woman. Has one of those voices also. Kind of sexy. I like her. And so we get this whole outrage advertisement again. So she says she wants to be a part of the MCU, and instead of mentioning any one of the hundreds of black characters she could be playing, we get the same old, hey, she should be playing as Rogue. All right, that's going to be great. That's going to be fantastic. I don't give a at this point, I realize it for what it is. It's outrage promotion. That's it, 100%. So we're supposed to go on like I'm doing right now, and we're supposed to yell and scream and no, why racial? And of course they do that so then they could say, people like me who think, hey, you should do an original black character. They could say, you're a racist. You're a racist for wanting original black characters. I notice a lot of people, and I got this in the title, a lot of white people going, well, why don't you just do one of the hundreds, or actually probably not 100. I mean, let's face it, Marvel ain't that progressive, gang. But one of the many black characters that have not yet been done. I looked it up. Storm, Starling, Ironheart's going to be done. Monet St. Clair. Now that is one I think she would kick all sorts of ass as. Daniel Cage, Shuri is already cast. Okoye is already cast. Spectrum. They could make them two different characters. Misty Knight could be recast for the movies. They could definitely find something other than Rogue. They could actually promote a black character. Well, they're not as bullshit. I call that out as bullcrap. Seriously. Every time we hear, well, they're not as popular, and it's hard to promote. It's hard to promote a new character. They're not new. They're in the comics. And to most of the people who are watching the movies, the MCU and all that kind of stuff, Rogue is a new character, especially in the headband and the outfit, because the only Rogue that they know is Anna Paquin. And I don't think people realize or really know Rogue from that. Wolverine was the star of the X-Men movies. People know Wolverine. Shit, they're doing the same thing with Cyclops too. John Boyega, hey, I want to be in the movies. Oh, he should play Cyclops instead of let's name any black character and let him be one of those. Let's promote, let's support the black characters. Now, if you say that, you're marked as a racist, which just freaking amazes me. By the way, I've seen a lot of channels when they talk about this stuff, they bleep out the word racist. Are you serious? I get it. Look, my channel's nerfed, so I don't know. Maybe they're the smart ones, but I think it's just one of those things. If you got to set yourself out there, man. Unless otherwise you're saying the censorship is okay. But we see it over and over again. Oh my gosh, here we go. Let's talk about the Little Mermaid and how it's horrible. She's making black. You remember in the 90s? And I've got a theory on this. You remember in the 90s they did that Cinderella movie, and it had Moesha, and I think it was her name was Moesha or something like that. And it had the fairy godmother was Whitney Houston. Nobody gave a care. And I think it's because they just did the movie and they put it out. And hey, look, there's she's played by a black girl this time. Who freaking cares? The Wiz is one of the funnest bad movies you'll ever watch. And based on The Wizard of Oz, Diana Ross, Michael Jackson, Nipsey Russell. A lot of great talent in that. I forget the woman who plays the evil queen at the end, the Wicked Witch, I guess, not the evil queen. An incredible voice, by the way. And we had fun with it. Who freaking cared? All of a sudden, it's made into a big deal. Now, is it made into a big deal by us, or is it made into a big deal by them? If they've just put out, I say this, if they just put out the movie, I think nobody would give a crap. Honest. I think in all honesty, I think Keke Palmer would probably kill it as Rogue. To me, it's ruined now because it's all about that skin color. mean, look at that. She is a gorgeous woman. I think she would kill it as Rogue. I really do. But they make it a thing. It's kind of like earlier in the year, we had Buzz Lightyear come out. And it was advertised like a lesbian porn film. You didn't hear anything about the story. You didn't hear anything about the cinematography. You didn't hear anything about anything other than this is a Buzz Lightyear movie and there's a lesbian kiss. I mean, it's all about the lesbians. It's about lesbians, lesbians, lesbians. Bring them on in. And that's all you heard about it. I got to tell you, I saw the movie. I must have been looking at my popcorn, or maybe I don't know what happened. I never saw it. So it was literally that much, but they made this big freaking deal out of it so they could get that outrage advertisement. And a lot of people didn't go see it. It ended up bombing. I think if they just put out the movie and the kiss was in there, wouldn't have been as much of a big deal. Nobody would have given a shit. Or maybe they went, wait, did I see that? Wait, what? No. It would have been, and people would talk about how that wouldn't be a movie that would have inspired Andy to buy a toy, because that movie was not the kind of movie that would have been popular in the 90s. They didn't make a 90s film when they made Buzz Lightyear. Hamida says, yeah, I've been called a bigot for pointing out MCU's Namor as cultural exploitation. You don't like Namor, then you're a racist. Dude, I'm Mexican. It is. And what I don't get is Namor, to me, Namor always looked more Asian than anything else. And I'm sure you could find an Asian guy that would look like Namor. Am I the only? I don't know. But you guys tell me. Have you ever looked at Namor and thought that maybe he looked a little bit more like Asian persuasion than Mexican? I could tell you I've never seen a picture of Namor where I looked and went, you know what? Mexican. Not once. But a lot I looked at him and went, Asian descent, maybe some sort. He's got the square kind of cheeks. He's got arched eyebrows. He's got the eyes, the whole 90, the almond eyes. And I think if they went an Asian actor, I think they would have nailed it. I would, yeah, good casting, you know. As they, oh shoot, I just spilt on my keyboard. Well, that's going to be good. I'll do you one better. You ever wants more original black hair? Well, yes, I know that. But here's the thing. Everyone doesn't get clicks. I'm sorry, Austin, for doing this. I guess I'm 7 minutes in. I can tell you the secret. You have to put in a title that's going to get people a little bit like, wait a second. So they click on. If I went, you know what? Most people really like that wouldn't get clicks. The thing is I've noticed a lot of the people who are yelling at each other on either side of the fence is mostly white people on this one. Also, I do follow a young lady. She's been around the Comicsgate area, and she's been arguing this whole point too. Of course, we've got young Ripa, who talks about the tokenism and all that kind of stuff. And he basically, I like him because he, as far as this is concerned, he uses the same language I do. You can't, I don't think you should ever pull back. Now, of course, he's black, and a lot of people forgive him a lot more than they'll forgive me for it, but you gotta call it out seriously. It is tokenism. It is, as I think I saw a thumbnail of his recently, it said, why do you want white people sloppy seconds? And that's basically it. Why do you want white people's sloppy seconds? I don't think they do. I don't think a lot of people do. You got to look like Michael B. Jordan, at least. He said, no, I'm not going to play Superman. I don't want to play Clark Kent. I want to play Calvin Ellis. Excuse me if I get the name wrong, my head. By the way, I'm taking some Preventa anyway. But that's what it boils down to. And yes, I have to put in, you got to condense a title down to almost caveman speak, like what's going to be the quickest way. I'm very bad at titles, so if I can get one like this, then yeah. Let's see. All of this will be free publicity. Well, for any movie who race bait their advertisements. The black pill sites will rage. Yeah, why not? Exactly. That's what happens. The problem, of course, what was it? That fat freaking guy. that got on, and he was saying that, but you only go after movies that are female run, or you only go after movies when they announce it's a black character going to, or a black actress going to be a white character. You never go after the white guys who do bad movies or something like that. I was gonna do this as a regular video. It was going to be about how modern black writers can't write black characters. Modern gay writers can't write gay characters. Look at Sanaa Grace and what he did with Iceman, and he created an original character, and it was horrible. I actually was thinking about how to word some of this stuff, and I thought, can you imagine a transgendered superhero based on that thing that Iceman created? And I went, yeah, actually I could. First thing, I would make the transgenderism secondary, and I would talk about the things that everybody can relate to. Unfortunately, that's not the way modern day writers who are not white go after characters. If I'm to write a black character, I don't know about specific black life. I've got to talk about the human condition. So we talk about the human condition, and everyone from every walk of life can actually relate to it. But you don't get that. More to the point, if you get somebody on the left who believes all black people are victims, they're going to write, much like I talk about that Mr. Miracle comic, they're going to write a super powered black person as a victim. I mean, freaking hell, there's an entire comic book series that apparently got picked up and dropped called Black. And it's all about how, excuse me with the focus there, it's all about how black people with victims have, or black people with superpowers have been victims ever since slavery. How are black people so freaking weak that even when they have superpowers, they're being enslaved? It's ridiculously racist. And this is how modern day writers write people who aren't white. They come from one, incorrect politics, and two, from a place of weakness. And it's gotten ridiculous. Something else I thought of. Do you guys remember in the 70s when white people were making original black characters? And this goes back to the original point. Modern day writers, modern day comic book creators only seem to want to color white characters, or replace, in the case of Falcon, replace a guy who's been around. Said, what is going on with my camera and the freaking focus on? Well, in the case of the Falcon's been around for what now? 55, almost 60 years. Wasn't he 67? I'm 52, so it'd be 55 years. No. Let's not give him a big push. Let's not give him a big promotion. Let's give him his friend's clothes and name and see if we can't do him. We're going to erase the Falcon. We're going to have Sam Wilson, Captain America. And it's going to be just like Miles Morales, Spider-Man. It ain't going to be Spider-Man. It's going to be Miles Morales, Spider-Man. Miles Morales first. Sam Wilson first. He doesn't get to be the Falcon anymore. He doesn't get to be the hero he was for 60 freaking years almost. They still haven't done Luke Cage right. Meyer, I'll tell you what, dude. I got to tell you, I like the second season of that TV show. I didn't care for the first because until the end when they had a guy who could actually fight him, because I never thought that he was in danger at all, ever. He was going up against people with guns, and he proved he was bulletproof. Luke Cage, I got to admit, but I'm a fan of stuff like the Dolomite Human Tornado, all what they call the blaxploitation films of the 1970s. And Luke Cage, God bless him, being written by someone who thought they knew the lingo, is just a lot of fun. After that, I think the Power Man and Iron Fist is good, but I got to agree with you. Since the 90s, it's like, oh, what are you trying to do? I know. I think that's the thing, Smokey. It's trying to focus on Kiki, but you know what? Wouldn't you? I mean, if you between the two of us, yeah. Let's see. I'm sorry, I've skipped over. I've seen that straw man on race changes. We were the same people that called out Dragon Ball films, and I know, right? Oh, you see that a lot. People put in these tweets, and it says, "Well, you didn't say anything about the Dragon Ball." Yeah, we did. That movie sucked. I don't even know Dragon Ball, and it sucked. You didn't care about what's that cartoon, Avatar? You didn't care about the Avatar race changes? Yeah, everybody did. Everybody cared about the Avatar race changes. Everybody cared about it a lot, and the movie sucked. Okay, I got to take down Kiki Palmer here because it keeps trying to focus. Sorry, gang. She's a gorgeous, gorgeous lady, but it's trying to focus on something. I got to fix that a little bit. All righty. 3 words, Miles Morales, Thor. That was embarrassing. They should all be embarrassed. MK, what's up, man? Been a while. And yes, no way. If black people were the only people who developed superpowers in the history of the actual world, would it be different? Yeah, it's like, okay, we're going to write it, but it's going to be the same history, but black people are going to have that is a guy. What was his name? Oria Galafan. I forget his name. I don't care. But the guy who created black, that's a white supremacist. I hear a lot of, oh, he's the black face of white supremacy, which is ridiculous. But this dude actually believes in the supremacy of white people. Not as in, oh, well, you're racist. He writes them as if white people are just better than black people, to the point where if they had superpowers, white people would be even better. Oh, yeah. Yep. 1969, Eric Breen said, okay, so 53 years. Thank you very much. Miles Morales was catalyst for race swapping gone amok. That's something because, you know, Jon Stewart wasn't. Jon Stewart's a beloved character, not a loved character. Jon Stewart's a beloved character for a lot of people, especially you kids who grew up in the 2000s. Jon Stewart's your Green Lantern because of that Justice League cartoon. Just like he to put himself in front of a black woman. No, you're thinking is Zach. Kwanzaa, that's his name. Kwanzaa was the guy who wrote that. I forgot all about that, man. She's beautiful. That's why the camera was focusing. Right now, I turned her off. Y'all are like, no, we want you gone. Put the Kiki Palmer back up. Pretty sure Kiki is the girl who got mad at Zach on Twitter because she was upset that he didn't choose her over that Star Wars girl. Really? Well, I think she's kind of hot. I do. And she's got that voice. What's that? Cree Summer also, by the way, has that voice. Yikes. My wife's not here, so I can talk about that for a little bit more. Okay, so let's see. Well, let's be honest. In Marvel's MCU, Wakanda is an ethno state. If they did it, white people would be so pissed off. With the yeah, it is. And I don't even know if they realize that they made Wakanda in that particular way. Anthony, not quite. Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, and the majority of the MCU characters are from the main comic book continuity with minor changes to make them fit the timeline, says Maranya. I don't know who you were talking to. But it's happened over and over. And look, this is just one more time for it, in all honesty. Hey, we're going to put this out, and you guys are going to get outraged. It's going to be something. It's like the Little Mermaid thing. I get it. Disney wants to remake all these live action things. I just saw the Pinocchio movie. The girl can sing. I don't know anything about this Halle Berry. It's not Halle Berry. I don't think. But whatever her name is, the girl can sing. She can't sing that song, at least not in that preview. She hit a bad note. But it just looks murky, and it looks sad, that movie. It doesn't look inspirational. Like this girl, you know, Ariel, when she's singing Part of Your World, it's supposed to be hopeful. It's supposed to be interesting. And the way it looks, it's depressing and sad. I don't think they even get the point of it. Ariel being black and such, my whole thing goes back to the same thing. Well, why don't you make a live action Princess and the Frog? Princess in the Frog is a movie that did okay business. It was like the last of the hand-drawn movies. Well, why don't you make Princess and the Frog, cast the black actress because it's a black character, and then let it get its day in the sun. Let it shine, you know? I think that would be brilliant. Or how about go out there and find a black fable or fairy tale, something maybe African-American that didn't involve a tribe of warrior women that got their ass kicked by French soldiers because all the while they're supporting and protecting the slave industry. Maybe find a different fable than that one and go tell a story. And no, I'm getting blurry again. Let's see. Jordan deserves another shot of a better movie done with him in it, but I'd rather see Jon Stewart used heavily or more equally to Hal, excuse me. Says this is Smokey Collects. He'll just make the movie more about the whole core. I think so. We've already got, you know what? I'm okay with them attaching the other movie. Bad movies are made sometimes, but it doesn't mean they got to be written out of the lore. So we already know who Hal Jordan is. Let's bring in Jon Stewart and the rest of the core, and I'm all for it, man. Let's bring it. Discovery made a mandate at Warner Brothers DC, no more race swapping characters. That will be nice. Yeah, people got to stop falling for the fan baiting. Just don't give them time or money. Well, here's something I'll tell you. The average view of my live streams are usually about 18 to 20 people. Now it's at 29. Obviously, it's an interesting subject. It's at least a touchy subject. So I see a lot of people pushing the original token in the chat. By all means, please expand on that, Emerald Centurion. How you doing, man? It's been a while. That is why they destroyed the Batgirl, because, of course, the race swapping. I got to tell you, man. I said it before. I'll say it again. I would have watched the Batgirl, but I wasn't like, woo, Batgirl. I want to see that movie now. I am like a child who you took away his toy, or that one toy that I wasn't playing with, but you throw it away now. Oh no, that was my favorite. I want to see that movie so much. I want to be able to say that was shit. I don't want them to tell me it was shit. Show it to me. I want to see it now. Plus Brendan Fraser and Michael Keaton. Who doesn't want to see them two in a DC film playing Batman and a freaking Firefly? I'd love to see that. Let's see. The Emerald Centurion is saying, how about a movie about Thomas Alexander Dumas, The Black Count? Okay. I'm fine with it. I just watched The Munsters 2022, a total hot. No, I can't wait. Is that out today? I heard it was coming out this week. Is it already out? It's on Netflix now. Ah, man, I want to see that Munsters film. Looks horrible. It looks bad. So I was like, I got to see this. It's just, okay. I don't know what it is when a movie looks that bad. All right, am I back? Okay. I don't know what it is, but about certain films. There's a movie I thought would be bad, and then I watched the preview. It looks actually really good. It's called Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. It's like, really? Okay. And then I saw the preview. I was like, oh, I want to see this. Don't encourage me to remake Princess of the Frog and they'll ruin. Well, all the live action movies ruin it. Have you seen the Pinocchio? Remember Gang Black and Alphabet characters did not exist in comics at all before 2016. Sorry, Storm, Luke Cage, Black Panther, Midnighter, Apollo, North Star. Yeah, and I read off a whole bunch that Kiki Palmer could play. Starling, Ironheart, Monet St. I think Monet St. Clair. Seriously. Danielle Cage, Spectrum, Misty Knight. I know Spectrum is Monica Rambeau, but I say go for it. Besides, she's also got Photon. Make them different characters. As far as John Boyega, don't make him Cyclops. Make him Blue Marvel. That would be really cool. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, the first Black Disney princess, they made her a frog for the whole film. Yeah, I guess so. I have my original Black story, Age of Kings, says John Delarose. We'll have to develop it at some point. Alrighty. And Wakanda Forever. They only changed the timeline for Iron Man. The core story is, okay, she's talking to Iron Man. Let's see. I'm actually getting notifications lately. Hey, all right. Thanks, Dark Admiral. One of the things about the notifications, one, my channel did get nerfed. But if you are somebody who's been paying attention recently, if you have been going to live streams and such, the more you interact, the more you're going to get. And I'm really trying to reverse the trajectory because I've been losing subs left and right for the last 2 years. Haven't had a positive month yet for the last 2 years, but screw it. Can't cry about it forever. Got to do something to change it, right? Rather have Batgirl than DC forcing the Flash down my throat, says Xander XE. That is a train wreck I can't wait to see. I am serious. The Ezra Miller train wreck is just, I know some people really were into Johnny Depp and what's her name? Mira. The Ezra Miller thing just gets so freaking weird. I'm not into it. Like, I don't want to know all the basics. I just want to see the headlines, and at some point in time, it'll be, oh, Ezra Miller to train or something like that. I wonder if the Batgirl is a marketing strategy like the Snyder Cut. It's working for me. It really is. I will. I'll subscribe to HBO Max again just to see it. Not really. Princess and Frog and other African fables are basically left in the bottom of the barrel, says Underworld Dream, when there no other time in history where the original Black creation and stories are in higher demand. Also, I talk about no other time in history, but for a lot of Black stories, it really does seem slavery. Now, nothing else. Nothing. Nothing between. You know, the Black people have actually had to struggle, kids. We talk about it sometimes, but there's so many stories between the Emancipation Proclamation all the way to here that could be told. And if they're not of those, if they're not about slavery or they're not about gangs, it seems those stories don't get told or they get ignored. What is it? There was a movie that I thought it should have done better. Oh goodness, what's his name? I'm gonna get killed for this one. The guy who played Chadwick Boseman played Marshall Thurgood. It came, it went, nobody cared. Nobody talked about it. But yeah, that's slavery okay, gangs okay, stories about people of success not so much. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I'm serious. You do a George Floyd movie, you do a Marshall Thurgood movie, right in the toilet. How was the Pinocchio remake? Asks Zach. I love Richard Donner. Who Framed Roger Rabbit is one of the best movies ever made. There is no changing my mind. God bless him. But you should not make a remake of a movie if you don't understand what the original was about. And this movie does not understand what the original was about. Ultimately, this movie was about growing up. I know that's probably very obvious to a lot of you. But Pinocchio is all about growing up. When he learns to be responsible, he gets to be a real boy. This is not shown throughout this entire film. All throughout the movie, the original movie, Pinocchio would do things like a child. When he's supposed to go to school, he meets Honest John. Honest John talks to him about, hey, you're going to go to you're going to go into show business. It's going to be fun, and you're going to have this and blah, blah, blah. So Pinocchio goes, oh, yeah. Doesn't listen to his conscience, Jiminy Cricket. He goes off. In the remake, he goes to school. He ignores Honest John. He goes to school, but then the teacher kicked him out for being a puppet. So he joins the circus. They took the decision out of the protagonist's hands, and they put it in the hands of a teacher who just says, go away, you're a puppet. You can't learn here. The whole point was he made a bad decision. He got into showbiz. Stromboli throws him into a cage. Those are the consequences. So the blue fairy comes down. She's going to save him. And she asks him some questions, and he lies. Nose grows. Oh my gosh, what is this? When you lie once, you have to lie again until the lie becomes as plain as the nose on your face. That's the whole point of the nose growing in Pinocchio. In this, he does a kind of a white lie to Jiminy Cricket. The nose grows. And then he uses it as a superpower. So the message of that scene, instead of like a child, he didn't want to get in trouble, he lies to the blue fairy. He actually gets what he wants by lying, because he makes his nose grow until Jiminy Cricket can get the key to the cage and they escape. When he goes to Pleasure Island, in the original movie, Pinocchio loved Pleasure Island. Smoked cigars, drank the beer, chopped things up. Really, I don't think I should do this on... yeah, anyway, he did all the bad things that he was supposed to be doing, of course, because he's a kid. And no adult was watching. So he's having this fun. He's destroying stuff. He's drinking. He's smoking. He's being all sorts of bad. In the remake, he's not doing any of this. He drinks root beer instead of real beer. Doesn't smoke. Doesn't really do anything. He still turns into an ass. I don't know why. He didn't do anything. As a matter of fact, while they're destroying clocks, of course, Geppetto has all the clocks around. He actually, oh my gosh, no, we can't do this. And the whole point was that he discovers that acting like that is bad, and therefore, and he takes on the responsibility. Got to go save my father. My father's been destroyed by a great beast, Monstro. And in the end, of course, he learns responsibility, and he's rewarded by being able to become a real boy. Ta-da, Pinocchio. In this one, they just say, oh, you're fine the way you are. If you don't understand a movie, don't remake it. Okay, now I don't know where I'm going back and forth on this one. Which is the worst remake? Is it Lion King because Lion King was horrible, or was it this one because they totally freaking missed the point of the movie? They made a movie that had nothing to do with the original Pinocchio. And if you ask me, and this is I will say this every day, twice on Tuesday, Pinocchio is one of the top 5 Disney movies of all time. It was made in 1941, 42. And it still holds up. Incredible film. And they f***ed this up every way they could. Every way they could. Yeah. But it really, they did it because they missed the point. They didn't know what movie they were making. And I think it's just, I mean, take away all of the stuff we've seen. Yeah, the blue fairy looks like a freaking hideous monster in this. The woman is not an unattractive woman, but they have her lit in a way. It's like, kill it with fire. I mean, take away that horrible lighting. She's not an unattractive woman. And she's got a good voice, but not in that movie. Holy shit, did she destroy When You Wish Upon a Star. Hey, Eric, how's it going?
Well, both the football games are bowling shoe ugly. And I thought, why let a perfectly good link go to waste? So I am here to add absolutely nothing to this stream.
Well, not to this conversation anyway. I'm sure you did not see the remake of Pinocchio. But that's what I think of it. I think this is a horrible film, mainly because they didn't know what movie they were making. Let me see. We should get a crossover movie where each racial version of a character meet and have a real civil war. That would be fun. Dark Admiral, the Pleasure Island scene scared the crap out of me when I know, right? That was maybe that's it. We at our age, we see Pinocchio and we see, oh, you're bad, you turn into a donkey? No, because I know what some YouTubers love to do to them. I did not think I'd be hearing a rant on Pinocchio.
One, not some.
Yeah, just one. Let's see. I was curious to see it, but mainly just for the whale. Hey, Venk, what's up?
Not much. So Eric's not here, and I don't want to let him suffer alone.
Oh, okay. Well, there's actually stuff to talk about today.
Pinocchio.
Lion King looked bad, but at least it stuck to the original. Oh, it was a horrible idea for them to make it live action or live action. It was photorealistic. It was horrible. Roger Rabbit dissed the people of Chavez Ravine who were removed so Dodger Stadium could be built. Toontown was located in CR, so brown people were non-existing. Great idea. I think you're reading a bit too deep into it, Anthony. But go on ahead, man. You be you. Your movie sucks. Made a great 2-hour video thrashing the Lion King remake. It only took 2 hours. Jungle Book is the only good. I disagree. Actually, I like the Jungle Book. I also liked Cinderella. I don't know if you would count 101 Dalmatians because it was actually made about 15 years before Alice in Wonderland, which really is what started this new batch. But the 101 Dalmatians with Glenn Close was really good. I actually liked Cruella and Dumbo. Dumbo's the one I argue with people on because I don't know anybody else who liked Dumbo, but I liked it. Mostly the ones I like are the ones that, while they follow the storylines, do their own thing. So, yeah. But anyway, there you go.
Wow. I'm trying to think the last time I watched Pinocchio. I had to have been about like 6. And then I never went back.
I don't remember the last time I watched it either. It's been a while.
You're probably in your like teens when you watched it.
Oh no, I've watched it before that. I like I said, I've got Disney Plus. I watch the Marvel stuff, but I've got Disney Plus for the classics.
Like I said, I could care less what they're remaking for the Disney stuff because I have all the original VHSs. I don't need Disney Plus to watch.
I watched the $1 Million Duck, and me and my wife together watched That Darn Cat. Watched the original, the one with Christina Ricci. Not as good, but the original is really good.
I can't wait until we get a remake of the Song of the South.
Yeah, never. Was it? I watched Pollyanna and Apple Dumpling Gang. Apple Dumpling Gang Rides Again. The Adventures of Bullwhip Griffin. Yeah, I like the old classic stuff that I grew up with. So that's what I've got it for. It's entertaining. So yeah.
Yeah, Aladdin was brand new when I was a kid. At least the cartoon version. But the story is based off Alibaba.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I like the classic Aladdin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Not really too deep. If one knows Los Angeles history, it was stated in the film where Toontown was low. Okay. Well, there you go. I did not. I'm still going to stand by my saying that Who Framed Roger Rabbit is one of the best films ever. Did you mean the live action Cinderella with Brandy from Moesha? Oh, no. That not the 90s one. The one that was made in the 2000s. Like I said, I count the live action starting with Alice in Wonderland and moving forward from there. But I do have to mention the Glenn Close 101 Dalmatians because she was brilliant. I love the Christina Ricci version. She was cute. Well, Zach, you were of the age. I was at that time about 26. Yeah.
I showed up. You don't have Kiki up anymore. Now Zach's here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. England teen favorite Disney film is The Ugly Dachshund. It's not bad. It's not a bad film. I don't know. Some of them are fun. Some of them I watch and I'm like, ooh, yeah, that wasn't good. I didn't care for that this time. But yeah, they're all right. Glenn Close is better than Emma Stone. I'm gonna put that under the no shit Sherlock category. I don't think anybody would ever argue that Emma Stone is better than Glenn Close in anything. I think Glenn Close is a brilliant actress. She was recently actually in a zombie movie that I thought she was really good in. It was called The Girl with All the Gifts or something like that.
I don't know.
Check it out.
I thought Glenn Close was a little old when they had her play Gwen. So I do think Emma Stone was better.
Right. The reality is white writers wrote stereotypical black characters. That is true. I mean, obviously, when in the 70s, when and I mentioned earlier the 70s when white writers wrote original black characters, I was trying to make a point, Sasan, about how modern day writers of actually any kind, they won't let white writers write a black character this time. But instead of creating new characters, we're seeing race swaps. Why not? Let's get new characters out there.
Well, why are they always person of color? Why aren't they Hispanic? Where's that stuff?
But if you're going to do it, then write right people. You know, don't tell me some millionaire guy who's out in space is marginalized.
So can Mulan be race swapped then? Can they make them all characters black then? You know, it's in China.
I guess.
I mean, who cares anymore,
Just
right?
to make a Blue Marvel movie, I hear that was a cool character. It was an okay miniseries. I like the miniseries enough. I've got a video on this channel where I go through the first issue. I think I might have gone through the entire thing.
By the way,
I do know I did a comic book origin on the Blue Marvel. What's up?
I do want to point out that you were mentioning the original Hero for Hire series.
Yeah.
I believe I can't remember who was writing the very beginning, like Archie Goodwin and then maybe Steve Englehart. But they had Billy Graham, who was black, as a consultant on the series. So I'm sure he helped. The dialogue was probably more accurate than we would think. Because I said, I mean, I'm the oldest one here, and I was 10 when that came out. And I believe Don McGregor also, consulted with people for his Black Panther series. So it wasn't, totally. It wasn't like Bob Haney trying to do teen lingo in the 60s.
Yeah. I do want to address this because I will say this. When John Romita Jr. first drew Captain Marvel, he drew with a big afro. Well, when she first appeared, she almost had the Soul Glow it kind of went down. Love that, by the way. Also, I have a thing for Afro puffs. I don't know what it is. You put Kiki Palmer in some Afro puffs, I'll be like, oh my gosh. But yeah, she actually did have somewhat of an afro when she first appeared as well. And John Romita draws everybody with wide noses also. But yeah, I know he does still draw with wide noses. Robin Hood, Sword in the Stone, a couple of the classics. My personal, I liked Robin Hood, and Sword in the Stone I thought was boring at first, but I enjoy it these days.
Well, yeah, as far as the way he drew Captain Marvel, there was nothing about that character, outside of her look. I mean, as far as like her personality, she was just a character who was black. Well,
and you just let your soul go, and that's actually, I think, what draws people to him. I love Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
When she first appeared, I followed her through the Avengers. Very inspirational character, good character.
When she found out that she was actually using someone else's name, she went through the process of basically she wanted to make sure that it was okay and felt guilty about that because she didn't know. But her actions she proved herself to the one person who was personal friends of the original Captain Marvel, and he gave his seal of approval. I mean, so she actually got put through her paces, and she wasn't perfect from day one. So she was a fleshed out character. I said that I love that character. It's from when she actually became the leader of the Avengers.
Yeah, but then later the same guy comes in and says, "I want your name again." I think that was a little bit too much.
The one that did that was the Sun, who hadn't been created. Star Fox was the one that Eris was the one that said, "You've earned the name." What they did later, I said, Marvel
screwed Monica Rambeau over.
They
I also have a video on that, guys. Check that out. The racist history of Monica Rambeau.
They did a lot of dumb things in the 90s, and with the exception of about 5 years in the 2000s, they haven't gotten any better.
Yeah. They're not talented, smart enough to create original characters and stories. They're the laziness. And they'll admit it too, because they say, well, the reason is nobody goes for new characters. You got to put them out there. It's like people tell me with my shows and such. Don't do it once or twice and just drop it. You got to keep it repeating and watch the numbers go down drastically.
New characters have been buried and long forgotten over the past 40 years.
Yeah, there is a lot of them. I'm reading the Marvel Universe.
Some of them click and some of them don't click. A lot of them are jobbers.
You got to remember something also too, E. When we were kids reading these new characters, if we didn't like that, we could go into the other, maybe put the comic down, go into the other room, and if our parents hadn't commandeered the one TV, we could maybe watch one of those 4 channels. There is so much to distract people today that nobody has enough of attention span, especially in a 10-second, whatever that social media thing was.
TikTok, yeah.
Well, before TikTok, the one that was only 10 seconds.
So a lot of kids who don't want to read this one.
And then, so now we live in a 140 character world.
Yeah.
Nobody has any patience for anything. So it's not surprising that, nobody takes the time to get to know these characters. And especially, when there's no there's no point, because people can also realize pretty quickly, there's nothing here.
Well, and that's one of the things I was saying earlier. Modern day, it seems weird that if you put a black character into, say, John Ridley's hands, he's going to give you a story about how a superhero is marginalized. If you give a Black AF is all about how weak black people are, and it's written by a black guy, but it's all about superpowered people who were enslaved by white people. How does that work? And of course, we get to be the racist if we point out going, that's dumb as fuck. Seriously, it is stupid. My bird's getting mad because he thinks I'm mad. In a little bit, I might have to toss him out of the room. Anyway, it's just, you give John Ridley a chance to rewrite the history of non-white characters. He gives you the other side of the DC history, where you have Black Lightning being nothing but an angry black man, where you have Bumblebee and Mal being nothing but put upon. Oh, why are we not as famous as the other Teen Titans? Oh, woe is me. Obviously, nobody cares about the black character. Obviously, nobody cares. No, but blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Just, you know what? It's off-putting. You've got John Ridley treating Katana as if she's the weak, flowering Asian girl. You have the harsh, brutal lesbian question. It's all stereotype, and it's all just negative stereotype. Instead of being inspirational, Black Lightning is an inspirational character. He's a teenage. He's not a teenage. He's a high school teacher who, in spite of how bad things gets, never falters, never falls. He's somebody who stands up for what's right and wants to inspire the people around him to stand up for what's right against the 100. Can you guys get some comments while I go shoot the bird? I'll be right back.
I want to bring up Larry's comment here. The whole Harvey Dent being Black and Robin, back then no one cared, because that was in a movie, and I don't think anybody really, at that point, really cared in the movie as far as normies. You could have had a black Robin, you could have had a black Batman. Back then, probably wasn't scared as much. Today, it's just become like a virtue signal. But holy crap, I read the Batman '89 book by the guy who was writing the script for those Burton movies, and I'm glad that those were never made. Continue, because they were very, very political. But have you read the '89 Batman comics?
I have not.
Okay, I was just gonna say, I'll explain, because the guy who originally wrote the script for the Tim Burton Batman movies, he continued that in the Batman '89, and it got woke as heck. I mean, it just got really bad.
Yeah, that's kind of sad.
Now, that being said, that's now, I don't know what the guy was like 20 years ago, 30 years ago when that was being made. He could have had to change of heart, change of politics, whatever, trying to survive in Hollywood. But the guy who wrote it today, it is just, it's not that great. And it has nothing to do with the fact that the character is being black. It's just that it made it all about the black character. It was more about the character being black more than the character actually being a character. Harvey was all about helping out the people and that the white people were looking down on. He became a black savior.
Let's see. Meyer Greenblatt saying, I want to see Luke Cage in the 1970s, a period piece that evokes the feeling of a grindhouse blaxploitation film.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. That sounds cool. Something like Luke Cage Shaft kind of thing. I feel like it's more about the current climate. Might have been fine as movies. This is Larry Quartowitz. I hope I said that right.
Yeah.
I feel like it's more about
So, and this goes back to the whole point. The whole social media is a big tool that helped fund these whole pandering stuff. If there was no Twitter, there was no social media, I don't think these corporations would really even be catering to anybody. You know, they might in some small part, but I mean, I think a lot in politics, social media, and all that stuff got so wrapped up in everything, the decisions about how things are made, Hollywood. I mean, I would just get rid of social media altogether, really. I mean, you have texting, that's it. That's all we ever need. We didn't need the internet before, remember? We were fine.
That is true. Try to get rid of it now, though. I think everybody's like, "Oh, if I went back in time, you'd miss your internet." That's probably the first thing.
Ask Eric. He was out with Twitter for a couple days.
The internet is awesome. I love it for so many reasons, but yeah, that's probably the first thing I would miss is the internet.
You had to go to Ticketmaster back in the day. You actually had to show up there.
Yeah. I want original black characters and more different characters, says DeBizzle. In general, race swapping is lazy and stupid, in my opinion. Absolutely. And look, I've got to tell you, 100%, I'm not mad at the casting or it's a rumor. It's a fan cast that's got people arguing back and forth of Keke Palmer as Rogue. One, I think she's a gorgeous woman. And two, I think she looks the part, and I think she could act the hell out of it. I mean, you know, I think she would do good. I really do. When you're bringing up the whole, I think she would kill it. And I think if they did this in the 2000s, I don't think anybody would have blinked. They would have gone, wait a second, black girl is a bro? Yeah, okay. But when they saw the movie, they wouldn't care. But I'll tell you this, I would bet you money that they wouldn't advertise the entire film based on it. And I think that's where a lot of the mistake is made. Instead of talking about the story and just putting it out there and having it be, they really do want this outrage, this outrage marketing that has everybody arguing back and forth. If you don't see what right now, as a matter of fact, if you don't go see The Woman King, you're a freaking racist. Or you're not black, as has popped up once or twice again. It's gotten freaking ridiculous with this whole thing. I'll tell you what, and a lot of people, they tell them, hey, look, no, it's the fact that you're doing a movie about this tribe of women who got their asses whipped by a whole bunch of French soldiers as they were trying to protect the slave industry. And still people look at them and no, you just hate black people. You just hate black women. If you happen to be a black person, you're a coon or a Uncle Tom or something else, whatever they call. I can't repeat. Something to do with houses. I've heard that one. It's incredible how they will dig deep to keep this going. And I got to tell you, I will watch most everything. I have zero interest. Like, I think I will actively avoid The Woman King because of the outrage marketing. I don't care. I don't care. And I even know for a fact that other movies in the past have been enjoyed, made a lot of money, even though they weren't historically accurate to the point where they made a whole bunch of crap up. The People versus Larry Flint, same basic story, a lot of made up shit. Just recently, a music, I love the music to The Greatest Show. What is it? Greatest Showman. It's all about P.T. Barnum. And the music is awesome. The movies, but the facts of the case, P.T. Barnum, I do think he actually had a slave after slavery was illegal. He treated people like shit. He treated animals like shit. He was a horrible, horrible, horrible human being. This movie, however, I think it would have been the movie that P.T. Barnum would have made of himself. So I know for a fact, but people didn't say, hey, if you don't like this movie about P.T. Barnum, it means you hate white people. You like it or not, you like it based on the fact that the facts are real, you don't. But this is the whole thing. They're trying to guilt trip you into not only going to see the Woman King, but into liking it as well. And it doesn't matter if you're black or white, they're going to guilt trip you in any way, shape, or form. If you don't see it, you are the black face of white supremacy. It's one of the most ridiculous things. It's one of the most ridiculous takes on outrage marketing I have ever seen.
At the end of during the end credits, one of the women is naming off fallen warriors. You want to take a wild guess what the name of the last one is?
Okay, who?
Brianna.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I watched Jason Whitlock last night, and yeah, he goes, yeah, I left as soon as it was over. I didn't even hang around for the end credits. And the guy with him said, "Oh, you should have."
And well, that's part of what I was saying. When you get the wrong politics, and they start from there. My friend Dalton. For those of you who may not know, there's a young gentleman who sometimes jumps on, self-professed philosopher. He's actually very, very bright kid. He gets on to me sometimes if we ever have somebody who is, for the few times we had, who is not politically aligned. I welcome it. If you disagree with me, come on in. We'll have a nice debate. But if they start off with a lie, I don't let them continue. You know, if they say, well, because of this, and it's a lie, there's no reason for you to continue that sentence. Because anything you follow up with because of this lie, if you're acting as if this is the only thing's popping in my head. Well, you know, since Trump said that there were good people on either side, and he was calling the Nazis the good people, stop right there. Stop right there. That's not what happened. It doesn't matter what you're going to say because everything is based on a lie. So we're going to back up. We're going to tell the truth, and then you could continue from there. That's the same thing with this whole Brianna thing. They don't know the story. They know the hype, but they don't know the story. So anything they say through that, it's not going to make sense. So they call her, she's a warrior woman.
The truth doesn't matter.
Well, here's the truth.
The story, the narrative is all that matters. If you see polls at how many people still believe in the Russian collusion,
I know it's ridiculous.
How many people believe that Hunter's laptop is Russian collusion? It's just, they said you tell a lie enough times and it becomes the truth. Somebody said that once. They might have been lying.
Yeah. Let's see. No one cared that Halle Berry was Catwoman years ago. People only cared that it was an atrocious film. That was so bad. And it's not a Catwoman movie. I want a Catwoman movie. That wasn't one of them. I don't know who Precious Prince was, but that movie sucked.
If they want to make a Catwoman movie now and they want Halle Berry to play her, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah. Let's just make it about Selena Kyle. And make it about Catwoman. I think now, with a little bit of seasoning, she could do Sister's Keeper. She could do that Catwoman great.
I could actually see them doing the Eartha Kitt story and facing racism as being the first black Catwoman.
Oh, good job. Yes. Have her actually play Eartha Kitt playing Catwoman and what she had to go through after that. Yeah. That's awesome. John really did a racist tale of Black Panther. The bad guys sounded like 1920 Southern slave masters. I didn't read his run on Black Panther. I'm done with John Ridley after the other side of the DC history.
I think if we're going to get Halle Berry playing Catwoman, I'd rather have it be tethered and fun.
Yeah.
And not, yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
I know.
Anthony Purdue, race swapping was always done in Hollywood Westerns, so now it comes to the superhero genre. Nothing new about Hollywood. Yeah, the first time you see, speaking of West, the first time you see John Wayne as an Asian guy.
But Eric, you had fun the first time she was Catwoman. Did you not?
I don't want to watch a movie about
fun looking at her.
Yeah.
I heard multiple people say for the women, King slavery was okay because they enslaved criminals. But that's not true. No, it isn't. They literally, the whole point was they would go to weaker tribes. That was all they were. They were weaker people. And then they were captured and they were taken to the coast. And that was it. And do you know that here's something, that I think is kind of a fun fact about the slave industry. Yes, take that out of context, ladies and gentlemen. A fun fact about the slave industry. Did you know that white people couldn't go into the jungles of Africa to get the slaves? They always had to meet them on a coast, and they wouldn't really have full on like meetings because it's the same thing like if you've ever heard like black people are more susceptible to sickle cell and so forth, so on. They were so susceptible to the diseases that were in Africa, they couldn't go in past the coast and everything. I thought that was, wow, that's so fascinating. I never even thought, it's like an aspect you never even think of. You know, now of course we're inoculated damn near up and down, where even when we don't have to be, you know. It's just that to me, when
a bunch of anti-vaxxers.
Yeah, I know, right? When I heard that, I was like, yeah, that would make sense, because you know, you're just not used to the land, you're not used to anything. But you actually hear about that anywhere. Like whenever there was a migration of people, they would have to get used to the air, the food, you know, all that kind of stuff. Hell, when I went to Thailand, I couldn't. I accidentally drank the water. Woo, doggy, that'll clear the pipes. Let me catch up a little bit here. The Woman King does not look interesting to me personally, and them using blackness as a weapon, says DeBizzle, is underhanded and deceitful. Well, you just hate black people, DeBizzle. That's all I'm hearing. That's I'm just kidding. Let's see. I'll admit it's a little weird. They just had King female in Thor 4, and now there's a Woman King movie. What's wrong with Queen? I don't get it. Why can't she be queen of Asgard? It just, I never understood that particular thing. Halle Berry and Catwoman almost drove me straight. She did rock that suit, by the way. You're right about that, Robert. Let's see. One race swap I actually loved was the Watchmen series, because it explained in the story Dr. Manhattan got a new body and Hooded Justice was just pretending to be white, says Larry. Never saw the show. I actually liked the first episode, but I never continued it. It's just one of those things. It didn't thrill me, but yeah, I want to check that out. I tried watching Cloak and Dagger again. Like I watched the first episode a long time ago. I tried rewatching it, so I was like, okay, I better start at the beginning again. I have no desire to hit episode number 2. That show was so freaking boring. Some regions of the world have no masculine, feminine honorifics, for example, female emperors. I guess so. There you go. But there's some shows that are just like that. Sometimes you got to go back to them at the right time to check them out. And, hey, that was good. That was bad. What you going to do? I don't know. But as far as King Valkyrie and Thor Love and Thunder, I know in the beginning, a lot of people were like, oh, look at her. She looks bored and blah, blah, blah. And it all turned out to be part of the character and everything. And after seeing the movie, it's like, wow, that was the least of that movie's troubles. That movie was harsh. I watched it in the movie theater. I thought, it's fun. It's funny in places. It's straight up comedy. And I watched it again. My wife loved it. And I was like, yeah. Yikes. I don't know if I would still, I don't know if I would call it the worst MCU movie, because I would still rather watch Love and Thunder than Captain Marvel. And I will never watch What If again. I don't know if I would watch What If season 2. Let's see. I recommend the end of the Watchmen season was awesome. I'll give it a shot. Thank you, man. Just like the episode from the first Flash TV series where a 50s era hero was actually black. You know, that's actually Blue Marvel. If you guys, once again, check out the video. I did the comic book origin of Blue Marvel, went over I swear I went over the whole series. But I do know that I went over the first appearance, because that's what comic book origins are all about. And what that was he's the Superman type character. And he's in a full body outfit. Well, one time he's fighting a really bad foe, and there's a huge explosion, and his suit tears, and it reveals that he's a black guy. Well, the president calls him in and says that he's got to stand down, stop being a superhero, because the president and everybody thinks that white America would be too afraid to know that a black person has that kind of power. And that's when it kind of flashes forward. That's why you don't know who Blue Marvel is, even though he started before the Marvel Universe. He didn't really get active until after it's been established. So that's how they make the basis for that. But that's the basis for Blue Marvel. Make that film. Put Boyega in that. I think that would be kind of cool. Maranya saying lazy writers won't take the time to rescue those badly written black alphabet characters of the past and write them better. They just want to erase. I agree with you, Maranya. You know my saying here. There are no bad characters. There are no bad characters. There's only bad writers. And you could point to, damn, there's a bunch of Batman villains. Think about Calendar Man. Think about how dumb Calendar Man was until Long Halloween. A good writer came along and showed you how this character could be done well. Yeah, that's been the case. One of my favorites, Brother Power the Geek. But then again, I actually think the original 2 issues were pretty damn good, mainly because they called out hippie culture as being lazy and stupid. But Neil Gaiman, they brought him back and did that. I don't think it was Neil Gaiman. I think I'm thinking of Prez with Neil Gaiman. But yeah, there are no bad characters. There's just bad writers. Even the slight raise from Brian Michael Bendis doing Riri Williams up to what was her name? Eve something. Eve Ewing. What was her name?
Eve Ewing.
Eve Ewing. Yeah. Let's see. It's obviously they just call female king or male title because it's a feminist empowerment thing. They're the only people obsessed with wanting male titles. I just don't understand that. The best way that you could be the best woman is to be a man. If you don't believe us, we'll make 2 guys Woman of the Year 2 years in a row. Definitely Boyega should be Blue Marvel, says Larry Quartets. ICE is taking advice from Mr. Miyagi. No such thing as bad student, only bad teacher. Yes, Mr. Miyagi.
I can't wait. I can't wait till we get rid of the participation trophies. You lose, you lose.
Yeah.
No, not everybody wins.
Mr. Miyagi was such a wise and powerful character that when he was gone, war started over high school freaking karate in Rosita, California. As dirty as John Boyega was done by Disney, Star Wars, doubt he'd go to work for Disney, MCU, and have that ever happen again. I don't know. He could make a good career in smaller films like this one. What's the freaking? He just was in an independent movie. It's sorry, out of my head. Speaking of good black comic characters, I'm looking forward to the Spawn reboot. I know, right? Let's see how that goes. I think that would be pretty neat. You got Todd McFarlane working on it. Hopefully they come up with a good script. If Todd McFarlane's writing it, it's going to suck. We've all seen his writing. It is non-existent. Have y'all seen Cobra Kai? Okay.
Yep.
I haven't.
Holy Toledo. I love the show. I really do. But I do think, where are the freaking cops? This guy just broke that guy's arm. That's full on assault, kids. You're going to jail.
They were there.
He broke his back. That's assault. He's going to jail. Well, he did go to jail. But point being is that, oh my gosh, all the stuff that's happening is like, there's consequences to this shit, right?
Why did you say that? Starman blew up a freaking grocery store and nobody was arrested.
Say again?
Smart. See, everybody's watching Stargirl right now. Last week.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, go to the example that there's no cops in that show whatsoever. Only when Rick beat up his uncle. That was it.
Anthony Perdue saying a movie should be made about comicdom's first black spaceman, Tarleton from EC Comics, 1950s Judgment Day story. How about Lobo? How would you like a movie about Lobo there, Eric? You know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah, the Western character.
Yeah, of course.
But I like Anthony's idea though.
Yeah,
because that was a great story. I don't know if there's enough there for a movie per se, because most of it's a robot population, but I guess you could adapt it.
Did you see Kevin Smith was talking about the whole canceling of Batgirl and all that on one of his podcasts? And he started talking about how he was hired. I think it was to help write some stories for House of Mystery or House of Secrets or something like that. And they were going to do shorts about different characters from the DC universe. I forget which one he said he was involved in, but they were, so it would highlight the smaller Plastic Man, John Constantine, so forth and so on. So it would actually watch like one of those DVDs with all the short films on it. I thought that would be brilliant. And I think they could do that, like Journey into Mystery, and just to have those old space stories and so forth. What is it? There's a movie coming out by Pixar, I think, or later in this year, called Strange Worlds. And it looks like one of those old comic books. I am so freaking in. No, Austin P. The first comic book protagonist or hero, black hero, is actually a Dell Western comic star called Lobo. He was only in a few comics, 2 or 3, right?
I'm not even sure the second issue came out because there was they refused to distribute it in the South, and they just sent back cases of it back to Dell. Yeah, he was the first black protagonist of lead protagonist of a comic book. And I put that over the all Negro comics because all of those were short stories. So no one particular character was the lead story. So it would be Lobo. If you want a little bit more history as far as that's concerned, yeah, you had Black Panther being the first black superhero, but the first female was not Storm. It was Butterfly from a comic book called, or at least comic magazine called Hellrider. Yes, it was in issue number 2 of Hellrider. So yeah, beat Nubia by a year.
Yep. All righty. So thank you very much, Larry, for the super chat. Whoa, I just realized that I could super chat. Hey, guys, you can super chat. Be a Larry. Larry's a good guy. Well, I just realized that I could super chat. Well, are you fans of Corridor Crew? Yes. They made a Batgirl trailer and have our Marvel and Star Wars. I haven't seen their trailer for Batgirl yet. I would love to check that out. I'm a huge fan of the Corridor Crew. I like the stuff they do with the CGI, but I love the stunts. Occasionally, these guys that call the Corridor Crew, they've worked on movies before. They do their own CGI stuff. They'll go through and they'll go, oh, I could see the outline of this, and I could tell you how they did this and this and this, and they talk about all sorts of special effects. By the way, thank you very much for the super chat there, Larry. But also my favorite of them, though, they have a stuntman come in and they'll watch stunts especially from when they do the 70s, 80s, 90s before CGI, because now CGI takes a lot of the real danger out of a lot of stuff. Not saying it's not dangerous, but when you are making Remo Williams and you actually get permission to film at the Statue of Liberty that's under construction, and you have a guy hanging at the top of the Statue of Liberty by a pole, that's dangerous. And they talk about all the stuff that they did in the past and how they did it and so forth. It's very interesting. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Corridor Crew.
I also want to point out, you can also go to ko-fi.com and you'll see another comics. If you don't have Super Chat enabled on your phone or whatever your device you're using, Ko-fi, all the money goes to E.
That is true. Yes, it goes straight to, and I certainly appreciate it.
And you can leave as long as the messages you want.
Yes, that is true. If you did send I'll get a message if you send a Ko-fi,
and he will read it off.
Yes, I can read the message from Ko-fi as well.
Yep.
Underworld Dream says, we all talk about wanting original black characters. If we do finally get a Static Shock live action, now how badly will they come up, and how? Well, another thing I've said recently is be careful what you wish for. because you just might get it. It's like you don't want a Static Shock movie. You want a Static Shock movie made in the year 2000 with modern day special effects, because what you're going to get is like the you're going to get Black AF, or you're going to get like the comic book, where it's basically they're victims, not heroes, not as fun. So yeah, I always say be very careful about what you wish for, because you might just get it. I used to watch them. Their personalities got annoying over time to me, says Austin P. I don't understand that. The Batgirl trailer is awesome. They made Firefly's mask and CGI look okay. I'm on it. I want to see this. Anthony, with the Prey film opening the way, I would love to see an adaptation of the Super Chief stories from All-Star Western. Sci-fi and pre-Columbian mythologies, a great short-lived series. Yeah, there's a ton of stuff they could do. You want to talk about non-white characters? Let's bring in some of the Western characters and such. I think you're onto something. Yeah. Hey, can we do? How about this? How about this as a movie? Super Friends, but we make it can be a dramedy movie, and it's all about the Justice League members, Black Vulcan, what was his name? The Human Tornado, Apache Chief, and so forth, how the Justice League left them and how they are now trying to make their way as heroes on their own. Because, yeah, there you go. You got a whole bunch of people who are put into the Super Friends to be, basically they were diversity hires, because the creators of the cartoon wanted to get Black people and Asian people and Hispanic, Indian, so forth and so on watching this. I think they had a Hispanic character. He was like a luchador with a sword or so. It's so long ago. I forgot what he was. Do you remember that character, Eric?
I didn't watch Super Friends.
Oh, that's right. You were a little bit older than I was at that time.
But before you go, I said I got to get back to work, so I just wanted to stop by to hang out for a little bit. You guys have a great rest of the stream, and see you.
Have fun.
All right. Take care.
Take care. Be safe, man. Ghetto Blaster. Well, in the live action shows Legends of the Superheroes, they did have Ghetto Man. And he was a Black comedian who came out at the Hall of Justice and told a whole bunch of jokes.
El Dorado was the land superhero.
El Dorado, thank you. They'll make Static a Black lesbian girl in a wheelchair.
That's also the name of a car too.
Did the Geeky Puppets get the silver bullet from the Terry? I don't know what that is. What about live action Super Friends with the Theater of the Absurd of Adam West Batman? Yeah, they did. That was what I was talking about, the Legends of the Super Friends. I think you can find that on YouTube. But where did I see that? Was it on Tubi? I saw it somewhere. But you could probably check. I think it's on YouTube.
It's on that cartoon.
Look up Legends of Super Friends. It is wildly bad. It was a TV show made in the 1970s. Laugh track, the whole 9 yards. The way they did the Flash's speed is they would have him go, and then they would just blink him out and then blink him in where he needed to be. It was really bad.
How many is same in the background scenes whenever you see him on the seahorse or flying? It's always the same panels over and over and over again. It's like,
oh, with the animation, yeah.
It's a cartoon still today. If you look closely, you can see the same things repeating over and over again, because that's how they do it. But I mean, I think about it, it's a lot. A lot of them do over 100 different cells, animation cells to make a move. But still, the scenery just is like, hey, I saw that before.
Yeah, let's see. They would probably give the public Vita IL a static light. Vita's too white, says Dalium. We all know we're going to get a BLM Static Shock as a film, probably. Actually, I'm surprised that we're finally seeing the backlash that should have been happening when all the destruction was happening, as far as BLM is concerned. Super Friends, like the Legion of Substitute Heroes. Exactly, sir. Let's see. Did you that show? You remember that show, Larry? It's so bad. It's ridiculously fun, guys. You got to check this out. It's called Legend of the Superheroes, I think it was. Samurai was the tornado hero on Super Friends. There you go. Black Vulcan was the black guy. They couldn't get Black Lightning at the time, so they had to change his name to Black Vulcan. And Apache Chief and El Dorado. So yeah, the affirmative action Super Friends were Apache Chief, Black Vulcan, El Dorado, Rima, and Samurai. Did you ever read the Grant Morrison run of Justice League? There's a story called The Obsidian Age, where they go back in time to prehistoric days, the days of Atlantis. And when they come back, they bring one of the magicians, and he turns out to be the Apache Chief. At one point, they actually have him go, "You're not Chuck," as in order to cast the spell. I was like, "Oh, this is too good, kids. Thank you for giving me that. At least that was very nice, very sweet, good stuff." But I don't know. Be careful what you wish for these days. I just figure, okay, they're going to put out the movies. Hopefully, they're good. I'm losing. I'm kind of losing my excitement these days. I don't like what do you call it? Phase 4 of Marvel. I know that's saying, everybody's saying that. The weird thing is I like individual things, but when you put it together as a whole, it just doesn't gel.
You know what I'm liking more? That I have no idea what you're going to do on a Monday anymore for topics. They're just sporadic now. Compared to the MCU is like, oh, I know I'm getting okay. Will they make it a little better? Oh, this one's a little better, and then they backtrack.
Yeah. Well, as far as Monday's concerned, it's supposed to be open topic, whatever y'all want to talk about. This used to be the way I would do live streams. At one point in time, I remember a couple times actually where I would just turn on the camera and go, "I have nothing to talk about. What do y'all want to talk about?" And then boom, whatever you bring up.
Change it to Monday Night Rants.
Yeah, no kidding. Wait, they brought back Atlantean magic from the past, and it was an Aryan outrage, says Maranya. Actually, I think
it's always been around. Yeah, it's America now do it, apparently.
Affirmative action, a great name for a heroine who is a shapeshifter. Oh my gosh, that would trigger everybody who you want to trigger. Meyer Greenblatt saying they need to do a Super Friends where each hero's identity as a letter of the LGBTQ letters, super gay friends, and it's 22-bit. I think they did that. It's called Commanders in Crisis. It was an independent comic book that happened a couple of years back. I feel I'm kidding, but in all honesty, I'm not. I feel like the race swap Clark Kent was never a real plan, just a outrage bait, especially considering there's already Calvin Ellis and Val Zod in the comics. Larry, I actually think they would have done it. I think people screaming and yelling Calvin and Val got them to stop, but I actually think they would have done it. Speaking of the JJJJJ movie plan, what is his movie plans anymore? I remember when people liked him.
I think he's doing TV shows now. Or he was going to be doing a TV show on HBO Max. He's supposed to help with something like HBO Max. I don't think it got canceled. Maybe was it the Green Lantern animated thing he helped with? Or was it or was he doing the Batman one?
Yeah, I remember. I got to tell you, I know a lot of people are on the hate JJ train, and I get it. Star Wars sucked. I didn't hate the Star Trek, but I tell you what, I'll stand up and say Mission Impossible 3 was directed really well. And but I also think Philip Seymour Hoffman being the villain really carried that shit a far way, man.
Still the only one I've never watched.
Say again?
That's the only one out of the series I haven't watched.
It is pretty damn awesome. I recommend it.
I just got sick of him. That actor was overused at the time.
Tom Cruise?
No, the other one.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
He was like, for a while, I mean, obviously he died, but like, remember how Ben Hurst was like in every movie?
Yeah, you're right. He was everywhere, but damn, he was good. He was a great actor. I'm pissed at the fact that he killed himself. It's just one of those, because it's stupid. At this point, especially now, but even then, it wasn't that far back. I'm sorry, but you know what drugs will do. There is no positivity to drugs. I'm sorry, there's just not. Well, you know what I mean. Obviously, I'm not
Well,
talking
drug
about,
abuse.
yeah, drug abuse. Heroin is not a freaking, you know what it does. If you follow rock and roll for even 5 seconds, you know how many people it killed. So yeah, to me, I don't think of it as tragic. I don't think of, oh my gosh, blah, blah. No, you're fucking stupid. And you had a wife, you had a kid, and you had all the fucking talent in the world.
Well, you look at that,
and he pissed it away. So I think he's a brilliant actor, but I think it was freaking suicide. I think it was dumb. I have no respect for it whatsoever. Great actor. I'll respect his talent, but I have no respect for him. He committed suicide with a wife and kid.
I mean, Chester Bennington did the same thing. He hung himself. So the guy from this, was it Stone Temple Pilots?
Mm-hmm.
Chris, whatever his name was, Chris Cornell. Or no, that's Temple Pilots. It was from the other one band.
Yeah.
But those guys were struggling alcoholics. But still, I mean, like my dad shot himself. You know, I understand that there's something wrong with them, and they didn't get the help they wanted. And sometimes you got to think it's a split moment decision. That's the thing you got to realize. It's not people plan to do it. It just gets to the point where they just crumble. That whatever they had a really bad day, whatever, it really triggers it, and that's what goes on. So I mean, I think it's dumb. But I'm not going to sit here and say like, we should feel sorry for everybody who kills himself. You know, if anything, we should. I feel more anger towards the people that are around them that couldn't see it. And I saw it. Well, I knew that I didn't think my dad would do it, but as far as there's a history in their family, so it's always in the back of my mind. Yeah. I chose to be angry at him because we got in an argument that day and leave. You know,
sorry you had to go through that, man.
Yeah, I know. It sucks, but at least he wasn't a pussy and went around and kill people. You know, that's ones I don't like. If you go around and kill people, then kill yourself. That's no, sorry. Don't have no sympathy for that person.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's pretty bad.
Because a lot of people want suicide. They want suicide by cop because they can't pull the trigger themselves, but yet they'll go kill their people with them. That stuff's crap. But enough about the dark stuff. Even though we're getting
right?
Yeah. Talk about suicide. Oh, so everybody wants to jump in.
Yeah, but heroin, horrible. I just, I get it. I sound cruel and such like that. Just ask me what I think about pedophiles. I'll tell you something too. But yeah, I know I've been a bit cruel on that whole thing. I had a cousin once again, whose dad just decided one day to go into the bathroom, shoot the dog in himself. Yep. And I had no respect from that moment in time. I was like, I could not, it's just, no, I'm sorry. I just don't.
Chester Bennington, listen to the Linkin Park songs. It almost sounds like it's a cry for help. Every single song he did. Makes you wonder how many of it he sang about was actually like experience he had growing up.
Yeah. But sorry for anybody who had to deal with it and so forth. I understand, once again, like I said, harsh take on it, but I don't know if I can change at this point my outlook on it. Let's see. I can't wait until they make Black Panther white, says Eric W. You know what? There is a White Panther in comics, and it was wasn't supposed to be Winter Soldier. So they got the actor, they got everybody ready. Let's go. To listen to Link Park now is so hard to listen to. I got news for you. It was hard to listen to when they first came out as well.
Because you're old. And I'll listen to this quickly. Even though my dad shot himself with a gun, I don't need guns. I don't blame the gun. Because people are thinking like, oh, if you take away guns, people won't kill each other. If you've been to England, they have knives. They stab people. So
we all lost people from drugs. My uncle, he did a lot to keep me away from that kind of stuff. First of all, I never liked the smell of pot. I just don't. So anytime people lit it up, you guys have a good time. I'm gonna go. It makes me sick. The whole smell of it.
Same thing. Pot, cigarettes. I love it though. If it's fresh, stale cigarette smoke. No.
Oh, cigar and pipe. I like the smell of, but no, cigarettes and definitely pot. Pot is it's like an armpit. It's just horrible smell. So anytime that got lit up, I'm out. I had a girlfriend actually say, "Hey, you want to smoke pot and have sex?" No, I mean we could have sex, but I'm not interested in having. And she goes, "Well, I want to smoke." So I said, "Okay, well, I'll be over at my house whenever you're ready for the second half of your evening. Come and get me." And I walked out. I wasn't gonna sit there and watch her smoke pot.
Smoke it outside and then come back in.
It's disgusting. No, but then she's gonna smell like it. Ew. Ugh.
I mean, it depends how good it is.
I just don't like the smell.
I mean, I'm just saying, you know, if it's that good, I'll hold my nose.
Yeah, I never was somebody for drugs. I accidentally I took my brother's Ritalin, which to a teenager is like amphetamines, and I was wired. I mean, I was wired for like about 12 hours or so. I could not sleep. I just had this hard time. And my mom said, okay, well, in my music, I've got some sleeping pill. You know, you take 1/2. Okay, just take 1/2 and it's going to put you to sleep. You know, you'll be fine. So I went in, I grabbed, I thought it was the pill to help me sleep. And it turned out to be one of my brother's Ritalin. But because I really wanted to go to sleep, I didn't cut it in half. And I was up for like 12 hours. And I was wired. I mean, I was running around the house. Everybody else is sleeping. It was just, I've never been that. Well, actually, I wasn't as wired, but I didn't know. You had this caffeine, these caffeine pills. It was like chewables. And I stayed up all night. I had to go to work. I was working at a Coliseum Comics when it was like a really small shop down here in Orlando. And so I bought these caffeine pills. And I popped one in, and I was just so tired. I popped another one in, and I must have eaten the entire pack within like 2 or 3 hours. And then I actually looked and saw in the direction because the box was laying there. It says, take one every 4 hours. And like you could visibly see my body shaking. It was so freaking bad. I was tired as fuck, but my body was just, they told me to go home. I should have gone to the hospital, but in the end, I was okay. But yeah, it was obviously I'm alive, but god dang, I remember I just couldn't stop. I got the jitters from eating all that caffeine. So if we ever meet, I'll eat edibles that day, says Larry. Well, thank you for your kindness, sir.
The first part or the second part?
Say what?
No, for which part is he meeting you? For the second part, he's gonna
eat edibles that day.
Well, I'm just going to the girl part.
what he's saying is so I don't have to smell the pot. Yeah, it's just a thing.
We're all equal under the bridge, okay?
There you go. Yes. And by the way, it doesn't taste like pineapple juice. So anywho,
it's all right. You know, it burns the first time, but it all goes down the same, right?
Oh, somebody commented on my laugh in the comment section.
They snorted. I thought you were saying something about the aspirin. You just snorted it. Well, actually, something about your laugh too. Who knows? I didn't hear you snort. But.
Oh no, this dude in the comments. I just got these. One of the things I was thinking about doing because I like doing the comment things. Was read off the comments. This guy calls himself Lincoln. It was talk about the wild dog. Only a dude with this kind of laugh would bitch about toxic masculinity. I don't bitch about toxic masculinity because I know for a fact there's no such thing.
There exist. But that has nothing to do with the gender or the race.
It's behavior. Guys, there is no such thing as toxic masculinity or toxic femininity. It's just femininity and masculinity. What you're talking about is bad behavior. This is bullshit. I don't know. Plus, if you take 5 seconds to explain your position, to me, this is a pussy way of doing things.
If you believe in toxic masculinity, you must be using Gillette razors.
No, maybe. But yeah, to me, that's like it's a pussy way of doing things. Like they put out, oh, you're so stupid. Okay, why? Tell me why, please, sir.
At least they put the dead mark. It means that they died after they wrote the comics.
I guess. This person just saying unbanned Dragon Ball Talk YouTube channel. I
saw that. It's Dragon Ball talking on his other accounts.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I mean, if I get banned, is somebody else gonna go in there like unban? No one's gonna care. They're like, who cares? Like,
yeah. Let me see here. Let me share this, I guess, if I'm gonna do this. JP, we did a whole thing about the Batman villains. We ranked them. My favorite Batman villain is Scarecrow, though there are two villains who traditionally Teen Titan villains who I want to see become more recurring Batman villains. They just so happen to be Deathstroke and Cheshire. And in fact, a couple of years ago, Christopher Priest did a story pitting Deathstroke against Batman. It was pretty sweet. I remember that. That was good. Cheshire popped up fairly recently, but was kind of lost in the shuffle amidst a bunch of other rogues in a fairly forgettable story. Yeah, wasn't that the one where what's his name lost his arm or something? Arsenal. Though I think both villains have a lot of potential to challenge the Batman in interesting ways. I get that. I think that would be kind of cool. I would like to see Deathstroke become full-on villain again. I've gotten so sick of Bane, says Wraith. And he's saying super overused character. He was good in Nightfall, but after that, less so. I actually mentioned in this video that he's pretty much a one-off. And he's also saying that years ago, Catwoman would rank higher, but now she shouldn't even be on the list. She's hardly a Batman villain anymore.
Don't be a stranger. Give him some hearts, bro.
Overlord saying that's New 52 Wrath, not Lincoln March. So apparently we identified a character wrong. Austin P, sorry I wasn't there for the stream. I had a family event. Hey, you know what? We all have to take care of our families. Family comes first, right? That's what Vin Diesel tells us.
Austin, anyway, are you here? Was there a good barbecue? Is that why you didn't show up?
There you go. Okay, so this I thought was kind of cool. We had have variant and ratio comic book covers run their course. All right. Now, Almighty Jack is the resident speculator. Okay, so he says, for the most part, variants won't hold their value in the long run second market. However, the consumer, by and large, buys them like they buy dumb things like Funko Pops. Shops who buy for the variants will simply get the variant, slab it at 9.8, then quickly sell it at a high profit enough to cover the cost of buying the X amount of comics that won't sell. And ratio and store exclusives don't hold value past 2+ months after the book's released. So you need to sell them immediately before they no longer are worth even what you paid. In general, I have a fairly negative opinion of variants and the predatory practices Marvel and DC employ just to scrape by selling bad books. The argument pro-variant consumers uses they are supporting more artists in the industry. Not really true. Cover artists get paid very little, considerably than if they did a monthly title, and DC and Marvel use it as a way to skimp by on their costs of paying bad artists pennies to do the interiors, while they give great artists a fraction of what they would normally pay them to do a full book. And we see that a lot with the how a cover would be so much better than the interior. If you want to bank on a modern comic book blowing up or being worth money over years later, invest in the basic cover A. This is the one with a trade dress. It's the only cover that consistently has the highest chance of gaining value over time. B covers, despite usually looking cooler, those are the ones I usually get, aren't wanted by real comic investors, and the ratios and other miscellaneous variants lose value often. Also, bank on buying issue ones of small press indies that sound cool but are obscure. Boom, Scout, Aftershock, Vault, etc. all sell around 2,000 to 8,000 issues at the most. And for most books, until they blow up, like Something Is Killing the Children, the first 14 issues of that all sold under 8,000, some as low as 2,000 to 3,000. So the first prints of each issue is hard to find. You mentioned me getting a ratio variant for House of Slaughter. He did. I had to pre-order 100 issues plus the ratio to get the 100 variant. I wanted it. It was a Frisian cover that mirrored the Frisian issue #1 cover B. Alrighty. The deal I made with the comic shop was I paid a little over cost for each issue. So roughly for 112 comics, I paid like $2.20 each. So he paid what, $240, $250. So I didn't pay the full $3.99, $4.99. If you're willing to pay that for an incentive cover, work with your comic shop. but he has a half a long box of the same book sitting in the house, so that he can't get rid of. So there you go. That's a little bit about the incentive covers. The Peter Parker said about the Wild Dog origin video that I made. It's called Wild Dog, 1980s action comic book. Is it really that bad? I did the full series. I disagree. I find it enjoyable as I would hyperviolent 80s action movies. I also like that it attempts to subvert the typical these are the bad guys deserve to die plot points that a lot of gun nut vigilante comics have. However, you do make some decent points. Well, thanks, sir. Glad you liked the video. Rizner Nizvim is saying about the Inhumans are not the X-Men and they never will be. Ike Perlmutter was such a parasite to Marvel. I agree. Hi, Wraith. How you doing? Who's the girl in the thumbnail? I don't know who she is, but she most definitely is not Starfire.
Yeah.
Captain America is the Constitution. Absolutely. And damn, Indie Comics Jones missed that last.
That's Mariko Sponti, the thumbnail.
Yeah. I thought my joke was better. I don't know who she is, but I know she's not Starfire. All right. Those are the comments for last week. By all means, please leave comments on the videos. I am desperately trying to reverse course on this channel. I have had negative subs for the last 2 years. And, I actually got a letter. I actually got a letter from YouTube congratulating me on 17,000 subs. Like, you, 2 years ago, I had 18,000. So off. All right. Let's get rid of that because it's.
I thought you were ending. You made it sound like you're ending.
No. But it messed up the sound. Eric W., I read a story about a guy who took some caffeine powder, but he didn't measure it correctly and took equivalent of 200 cups of coffee and died. Maybe I got lucky. Let's see. Woman splaining is a thing, though. Well, I've been married for 30 years. I've heard it. There's just toxic people, not toxic demographics, says Larry. Maranya saying these projects put race alphabet first for the characters because when people criticize the projects for being bad, they can claim racism, bigotry, and the whole 9 yards. You don't like it because she's black.
Yeah,
the whole point about that is so freaking like this is the very first movie starring a black person ever. No matter what comes out next, it's the very first movie that ever had a black person, ever had a gay person. And oh my gosh, you only could have, you know how fucking racist it has to be that these people, you know what? No, I'm going to say this. Okay. I'm specifically talking about you people are fucking racist. You people are freaking racist. Why? Because you look at this woman right here and you can't see nothing but skin color. That's that. That is that. If she's in a bad movie, oh, it's because she's you racist, because you cannot see past this woman's skin color. That's it. And that's what happens. Like, there's been no movie ever in the history of movies that has ever starred a gay or a black person before. That's how you treat this. Holy shit. Are you dumb as fuck? Like, not 2 years ago. 2 years ago, we made the most successful Marvel movie was the Black Panther. Oh, y'all don't like movies of black? Go fuck yourself. You people. Holy shit. That pisses me off. Another thing that pisses me off is when you're specifically obviously talking about somebody, and you say you people, and they go, well, what about you? What do you mean, you people? Go fuck yourself. Because you know what I'm talking about. So shut up. All right. So anywho.
And when I say you, I mean idiots.
Yeah. The racists that can't see past Kiki Palmer's skin color. That's it. And that's what they're doing. Every time they do this. Well, why don't you make an original African fable instead of making Little Mermaid black? You're a racist. Go fuck yourself because you can't see past Halle Berry or whatever her name is skin color.
I can't see past you to see your skin color.
because we are talking about why don't you make original content? It's you that can't see past the demographic. You people, you racist motherfuckers who call us racist because we want original black characters. We want original black stories that, by the way, once again, do not support the slave industry. So yeah, I'm sorry, but those are things that really bug the shit out of me. I've hated that for a long damn time. That you people thing, I've hated that. Oh, well, these Fords are better than these Dodge. Oh, you people don't. What do you mean, you people? Are you fucking kidding me? We're talking about cars. You want to bring that shit in?
Like you people?
Yeah.
Because I've only heard you and another lady who is from like Georgia. It said you people.
Oh, it's
it's like
it's stupid, and for some reason saying that you'll always get that. What do you mean? The whole thing. I love that line from what was it? The Thunder movie with RDV. God damn it! How am I freaking forgetting this movie? Yeah, the comedy. You know, where RDV was playing the black guy. Thunder, something Thunder. I can't remember the name, but I swear to God,
Lightning.
No, it'll come up in the comments. Somebody's gonna. They're like, "Are you kidding me? You forgot that?" Yeah.
You said RDV.
Tropic Thunder. Thank you. Did I say RDV? I meant Jay. You know what I'm talking about.
That's I was like, I've never worn blackface.
I am so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I would look awesome if I did.
Guys, I promise you, I'm seeking help for my memory for the whole thing. It has become a problem, by the way, where I am literally. I get up to do something and I forget what I'm doing on my way over. It has become a problem that I'm trying to
That's
fix.
right, kids. Never go full Ingleton. Don't
go full Ingleton. Yeah. People didn't complain about the race gender swap of the ancient one. Hell yes, they did. Yeah, they did. I thought they should keep him Tibetan because China. We can't get a proper Mandarin because the original concept is racist. But it's okay to make the Mandarin Middle Eastern. I know, right?
I'll just say this. You can be whoever you want to be. It's called fantasy. It's called acting.
But what I was going to say is I love that line in Tropic Thunder where he says, what do you mean, you people? And the black guy goes, what do you mean, you people? Yeah. But that was always my question. Are you kidding me? We're seriously talking about cars, and you said Ford. I mean, Ford people. Are you? Yeah. Hey, MK, what's going on? Did you see the short from Flash Gets called LOTR Pronouns of the Power? No, I haven't. I also haven't seen past episode 1 of Lord of the Rings. I do not care for it. I get it. I could probably make 1,000 views a video. Maybe I should if I watched it, but that means I would have to watch it. Oh my gosh. There's so many other bad shows I haven't watched yet. Do I have to sit through that shit all over?
I'm just saying, it's like that meme I showed you before from the Babylon Bee.
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars fan eagerly waits the watch show.
I love that one. Yeah. Star Wars fans eagerly await the next Star Wars show to make them angry or something like that. Yeah.
He's gonna hate watch.
Yeah. I do joke about the black pills a bit because it's like coming soon. I hate it. I didn't even tell you what it was. Yeah. But oh my gosh, I couldn't do it. I guess I am kind of hate watching She-Hulk. I mean, I don't like it.
Are you reviewing it or are you just watching it?
No, I haven't been reviewing it either.
I'm reviewing it. That's the reason I'm watching.
Yeah, at least you're doing something with it. I literally am doing nothing but watching it, and every time I'm like,
yes. If I'm in a movie, I'm just as famous as Wonder Man is. Okay.
Every time I watch She-Hulk, it's been a while anyway since I did anything beyond just what the.
Well, it's the same mentality as the people who hate Rick Dennis. That's the bitch about it.
How are they doing? It's like I liked the first episode. I didn't love it, but I liked the first episode, and I loved the first episode. Or second. I thought the second episode was really good, and I'm hoping that they hit that again somewhere. And it's just been worse and worse and worse. It's just it's been bad.
I mean, this last episode, you can just don't have to watch. I'll just tell you, we see Daredevil's helmet.
Yeah, I saw that. I watched that episode. But you're right. I should be doing reviews. At least then I'll get something, you know, out of it. At least, like even if I do one of those where I'm just watching it live, so you guys could see my immediate reaction or something like that.
You put more effort into Twitter fights than you do actually the channel.
Say again.
I think you feel like you put more into Twitter fights than you do in your channel.
That's why I'm erasing all of the. Well, actually, I got news for you. If I could only show you all of the half-made and all the way made videos I haven't yet published. Yeah, you're right about that though. I have made videos and I've never published them. I have gotten punched. I guess it's called punch drunk or whatever. I put out video after video that did nothing. So now it's like I make them and I'm like, is this good enough?
This way, I don't give up so easily. Just put it out there and don't be discouraged.
I haven't given up this easily. It took 2 years to get me here. I didn't give up easily. I honestly fought the good fight for 2 freaking years to the point where I was like, is making a video worth it anymore? And that's where I am.
Your channel's been all over the place too.
I
feel like your channel's been all over the place too.
Well, I'm not talking about this one. Also, I'm talking about the other one. At least I'm doing live streams on this one. But the other channel I've pretty much neglected a lot because is it worth? I mean, I've got I'm a lot of stuff I talk about here. I actually have written scripts. I've recorded. At one point in time, I did do a whole video where I argued with Ethan Van Sciver and Tristan. You know, they did that debate, and I went through and I recorded everything. Never put it out. Couldn't get the editing to work, and then yeah. So I'm sitting on that. I could do it. I could do it live again, actually, if necessary. But yeah, I got kind of punch drunk, and then also. And here's something, the worst part that I guess I admitted a little bit of it. I forgot. I freaking forgot. Like I would be like, oh yeah, wow, I want to do this video and I've got this great idea. I wake up the next day, it's gone. It's like freaking 50 first dates. I just forget the
notes on your computer screen.
But it's in a folder somewhere. It's out of my mind. Like it never existed.
Keep it on your desk. Work.
Yeah, I know. I've got to bring back my whiteboard and with all my ideas because
why is it a whiteboard,
the worst thing that's happened is that I've forgotten. And if it's a topical video, it's only good for a day or two. So yeah, that's the worst part of it. But once again, I am trying to find a way to help my memory again because yeah. Let's see what we're talking about here. I can honestly watch She-Hulk and find something good in it. People nitpick the show so much that they get enjoyment from nitpicking and they can't watch. But I haven't been doing that. But I get it. I do know that there are people who would do that. Flash Gets is just amazing stuff, says Undead Quinn. All right. I heard my shop try to say to watch She-Hulk and declined. It's up to you, man. Yeah, it's to me, it's not great. I have to disagree. Think of it like a house that Love built from The Simpsons. It's normal and stable, but it crumbles after the hundreds of tiny flaws, like a death of 1,000 cuts. New Quantum Leap was tonight. I hope it's good. Oh yeah, me too.
Scott Bakula said he has nothing to do with it whatsoever.
Well,
even
yeah.
Even though it's supposed to get a soft reboot sequel, where they're actually still looking for him all these years later. So
that would be kind of fun.
So the premise, what I saw was that this guy, he's another scientist working at the place where Al was, decides to go in after Sam, the way Sam did. He gets lost, and then he has a whole team now. It's like Arrow. We have a whole team to help you now. It's like they're still Al. Yeah, they have a girl who we see taking the spot of what Al would be, you know, with a little calculator.
And she's white.
Yeah. Well, the main guy's Asian, so
yeah, I know.
Make a difference. My problem is that
it actually looks good. I want to see it.
I'm curious how censored, how PC it's going to be, because the original one wasn't really PC.
The original, no, it wasn't. Even though they did have him jump into, of course, him being in the 80s, and he is my dad's age. So right now he's got to be in his 70s, I guess. But so their history, of course, does go with the civil rights movement. So they popped back into places where it really was racism. It's not like today where it's like somebody asks, "Can I help you?" Oh, you're just being racist. Oh,
it's on NBC.
Yeah. I admit that shows have their flaws, but I look for the good ones. The good I find it. Black pills only look for the bad. Yeah, that's. And what is the new Quantum Leap being shown on NBC? Okay.
Yeah. I watched like NBC has La Brea, which is not normally a show I would watch, but it's kind of like a sci-fi show being on an NBC show about time travel.
I'm trying to get. I've got 4 days to finish Gotham. I've been watching it. It's out on the 23rd, I think. After that, I'm free to watch the new stuff. Want to get caught up with a whole bunch of movies as well. Where the Crawdads thing is finally on pay-per-view for like $6. I hate paying that. I'm not going to pay $20 for a pay-per-view thing.
Watch Top Gun 2 again.
I want to see that. There's a couple of things that popped up on the Imperfects popped up on Netflix. I think that looks pretty good. Got to see some of those, but I want to watch movies, and everything that goes in Netflix now is TV. Oh, Owen Wilson has a superhero movie on Paramount Plus. I was going to check that out as well.
There's a movie that just came out. Morbius. You can watch that. It's on Netflix. That's a movie.
I've seen it in the theaters. Thank you very much. I probably will watch it again. Just for shits and giggles.
I like watching movies more than once because it's like a time around you may like it more, or you may notice something that was a flaw that you didn't
like Thor: Love and Thunder. I brought that up earlier. I had fun in the theater when I watched it at home with my wife. Even though she was laughing, I was just cringe. It's just, you know what I want to do? I was talking to my wife yesterday. I said, you know what? I want to watch Home Alone. I just had, or like Miracle on 30. I know you don't like it. Miracle on 30. I was in the mood to watch Christmas. I think it's because we've hit a snag here in the Englentine household, and I think I just need that kind of feeling, you know, that comforting sort of happy feeling and such. Yeah, we really hit a freaking snag here, and it's just, you know, you ever get that way? Like you just need to watch positive movies or positive shows and such like that.
I try to avoid all the things that I think I would be boring or put me to sleep. I mean, sorry, people love Game of Thrones. I don't hate it. I just said it's not my thing, and it just like it'd be like watching a documentary.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe it has a lot more action, cool, but I mean, there's like I just don't get. It's like everybody's competing for the throne. How is it different from any reality shows?
Well, now I do have to address this. Austin P saying the black pill is a straw man. It's not. It's out there, and the black pill. It does exist. I will point to this as an example, but this is only one example of many, and that would be the Game of Thrones, this new Game of Thrones show.
House of Dragon.
Yeah, right before it came out, I was talking about we had a whole bit of a row with Bounding into Comics, and I even talked about after we made our piece, I went back and I saw, and they were getting on to Game of Thrones. It's almost like they went, okay, which way's the wind blowing? Do people like it? Do they not? So even though it wasn't getting as much of the black pill hate that Lord of the Rings was, it was actually getting black pill hate before it came out. Now, I get it. Lord of the Rings was advertising, this is going to be social justice, it's going to be woke crap, blah, blah, blah. Rings of Power, they only cast a black guy in a role, and we find out he's married into the Targaryens. But people are liking the hell out of it. So it does exist. It does exist where it's like, oh, look at this. I also know it exists because I did that. For a long time, this channel was very much, I would say, black pill. Oh, look at this. They're doing a plastic woman, but they can't do plastic man. What's you know, have no idea. Would it be good? Would it be bad? I don't know.
Yeah, with Zavla, whatever guy's name is, taking over. I guess people were saying this. I mean, I don't know if he has a reach, but
yeah, it does exist.
There basically were shorts or there were ongoings that were turned into shorts because of him, miniseries, because he wants him over. He's basically trying to trim down the bad books at DC Comics. I don't know. the biggest thing smartest he could do is stop copying Marvel when it comes to the comic books.
That's something that happened every day for the last 60 years. Marvel and DC were copying off of each other all the way through. For Marvel, or DC was, of course, the Golden Age gods, and Marvel copied off them. And then, of course, Marvel came out with the Fantastic Four, so forth. The Marvel Universe was born. For a while, DC Comics was very much, it's a fad.
Can you imagine?
We're DC. But then after a while, they realized they need to copy the Marvel style. And they've been doing that on and off for the last
DC decided to basically stop doing the whole race baiting and all that stuff, and switch over. You'd see the government coming down and putting sanctions on them. Just as fast. No, they'd be targeted because they'd say they're racist. All that stuff. You'd have Biden calling them out. The DC comic books, they're conservative, they're Trump supporters. You'd have all that shit on them if they actually went to being the way they were originally back in the day, before
like in the Golden Age.
They would be in business. They would seriously.
Well, only if you could prove that they were Trump supporters. So Austin's saying Hollywood is no longer worth supporting. It's burned too many bridges, too many scars have been made. It's time to begin the new non-LA film industry. It's out there. Yeah. A lot of people are turning to Bollywood now, especially after RRR came out. If you've ever seen that movie is bonkers cool.
Is that the new Bollywood movie on Hulu?
Yeah, no, it's on Netflix. It's the one I showed the scene where the guy turns the truck and all the animals, and he's jumping out with 2 torches. At one point, a guy throws a tiger at another guy. This movie, there is no physics in this film. It is just, will it look cool on screen? We're putting that in, and it works. For some batshit reason, they said, you know what we need right here in the middle of the story? A 15-minute dance scene, and it is awesome to watch. Make no mistake, this movie is 100% white people bad, okay? But it's British white people say. But it is so freaking cool and nuts. I mean, it is out there, man. It might be the coolest movie of the year. I'm not saying the best, but definitely the coolest. It watches like a Rob Liefeld comic book. It doesn't matter if it makes sense. Does it look cool? That's how Rob Liefeld worked in the 90s, and that's how this same as Todd McFarlane. Todd McFarlane didn't care if it worked either. Does it look cool? And that's what RRR does. I highly recommend it. If you haven't seen it, on Netflix. It is batshit bonkers. It's 3 hours long, so you might either want to save out a chunk of time or cut it into 2. But damn, you know what? I'm promising you'll have a good time with this one. MK saying, yeah, I definitely think DC and Marvel have been biting off each other for years. Like MCU tried to copy DC with Wonder Woman's success for a heroine and shoehorned Captain Marvel. We all know how that turned out, and that's true. That's basically what they did. Hey, we got Namor. We'll make Aquaman. That kind of thing. But in the 70s and such, it was more like, you're telling mature stories. We should tell mature stories. Late 60s, 70s. And so, and then that's what ended up happening. Hell, the whole Crisis on Infinite Earths thing was because DC's continuity was so warped by not having continuity for a long time that they just decided, let's destroy it and start over. That was actually an idea that was given to them in the 1970s. It just took them 10 years to actually get to it.
This whole Dark Crisis is another Hail Mary for them trying to basically, we'll start over again. Remember when Crisis sold so much? It was a great book. We'll do another Crisis. Everybody loves Crisis. Unless you're getting rid of the future state crap and Jace is going bye-bye, I don't care. Crisis, what? It means nothing because nothing else is being affected. Tim isn't going back to being straight. He isn't being erased. You're starting out with new characters, going back. You're resetting it. All you're doing is keeping the same people doing their own crappy books on their own separate titles. Certain books do have was it Flash has a tie-in, but Detective Comics and Batman, those 2 books, them have no tie-in to this Dark Crisis event. That's how stupid it is. But that being said, I gotta go. I gotta get ready for talking about The Boys with Ash on comics.
All righty, you have a good one.
Oh, I will. I'll be up for another 2 hours.
Have fun.
Will
See you
do.
tomorrow after your show. I'll be doing the auction.
Yep.
Yep. Would you say Secret Wars is Marvel's version of Crisis? I would not, sir.
I want to sit there and broadcast. I'm used to doing that all the time.
Just hit leave studio, dude.
I was like, this isn't my stream. I gotta leave. All right, later.
All right, have a good night, Miss So. Please take care and be safe, everybody. That's would I say Secret Wars was Marvel's version of Crisis? No, I wouldn't. There were two different reasons for both of them. Crisis was built out of necessity to compete with Marvel because of the continuity. The whole thing was to replace and just kind of redo the DC universe to meet the modern audience. Secret Wars was an advertisement for toys, and it came out a year beforehand. A lot of people believe it was done. Of course, ideas would have come about at the same time. Secret Wars was more rushed out, and a lot of people say it was done on purpose. As a matter of fact, they planned the last issue to end on the same month the first issue of Crisis on Infinite Earths started. So, and that is what happened. So, while I do like both of them, I gotta say Crisis is infinitely better. Mainly because Secret Wars was written as a commercial. I mean, it had its own story, but it wasn't cultivated for as long. Jim Shooter wrote it. Jim Shooter's a decent writer. I like this story. I don't love it. I think there's problems with Secret Wars, but overall, yeah, entertainment. But as far as what they were planning on doing and what they were trying to do, no. Secret Wars, once again, toy commercial. Crisis on Infinite Earths, great freaking story, very well drawn in order to absolutely reshape the DC universe. Two different monsters. Georgia in your own state is growing the seeds of the new film industry, and I, for one, am excited for the future, says Austin. I hope so. When Universal Studios first came down here, it was more of a working studio. I'd love to see more projects come. It's really turned into just a theme park, but occasionally they'll have things filmed. I worked on a TV show for Nickelodeon Studios. If you're a kid in the 2000s, you might remember a show called Slime Time Live. I worked on that show. I worked backstage. I was only on camera like once or twice, but it was fun. And that was something. We had the Nickelodeon Studios there. They were doing their TV thing. We would have wrestling there. I got to meet Macho Man, Randy Savage. Holy crap. You know what? That's Macho Man. I thought, it'd be like, oh, hey, boy, okay. And then he gets off stage. Well, hi, Norman. Do you want to go grab a bite to eat? No, that's Macho Man, dude. I met him, and he is his on-screen persona. The voice, the whole 9 yards. I was so elated with that. I'm not a wrestling fan. I know him, but he was absolutely fantastic, by the way. Let's see. DC tried to put out the Superpowers comic book, which was also based on action figures. Yeah, those two would be more comparable as to what they were. Superpowers versus Secret Wars. By the way, Secret Wars wins. For as bad as I thought, and I don't think it was bad, but for as weak as I thought Secret Wars was, Superpowers, unless I have it for sale on auction, was not that great. All right. Interesting. I had no idea first issue of Crisis came out the same day. It says same month. I would have to check on same day. This is the last issue of Secret Wars. I was like 4 or 5 when they came out. All righty. But yeah, the bird is going nuts because I kicked him out of the room and there's nobody downstairs for him to talk to. Actually, there's nobody else in the house but me and my mother-in-law. She's sleeping, but he's actually causing all sorts of loudness. I would love to see Universal Studios get back to movie making. I told the Creed story a couple of times. Barney filmed. They had an actual show for Barney, but they filmed a TV show there. A couple of movies, Parenthood, starring Steve Martin, was filmed there. Some of Waterboy was filmed at Universal Studios. So they've had things done. I think it would be great. I actually tried out for a game show, but it didn't work. The whole premise of the game show was that you had 2 people It was about movies. They would ask a question, and the two people, me and the celebrity guest, are supposed to discuss what the movie is. Well, the problem is you either know the answer or you don't. So a lot of times it would be like, who's the director of Exorcist? William Friedkin. Oh, wait, no, you're supposed to discuss. Okay, it's William Friedkin, right? Yeah, William Friedkin, you know. And so it didn't work. And so even though they filmed the pilot, it never came out. I knew it would never come out because it didn't work. Like I said, you either know the answer or you don't. Let's see. You can tell when reading some issues of Secret Wars which ones were product placements for the toy and action figure line. He was being loud, so I had to kick him out of the room. My wife just came in. Dr. Doom, for example, had a complete character design makeover because it would be better for the action figure. That's true, with the electric panel on thing. He looked like Darth Dr. Doom going on. So Gail came in, guys. Oh, I'm out of focus again. Gail came in. I guess it's time to wrap things up. It's past 2 hours. I love these live streams. Let's just start and talk. Whatever you guys want to talk about. This is freaking awesome. MK says, reminds me of Transformers. They made the series because of the toy action figure insanity and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. After the comic, they made bank on their figures. Yeah, you guys messed up. I'm going to blame you, MK. I'm pointing right here because that's where the comments are. You, MK, and people your age messed up the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for me. All of a sudden, it became very kid-friendly and very kiddish. Anybody who's a 1980s adult fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles knows what I'm talking about. They were badass, and then you guys made them, oh, cowabunga, let me eat pizza. By the way, I love the movies. To contribute the channel, says Maranya, please go on over to Ko-Fi. There's a link in the description below, and I support that idea. That is a great idea. I like that because right now I'm one bill away from getting a freaking I'm the wrong bill away from getting a freaking overcharge. New Jersey used to be the film industry capital, but high taxes, strict unions, and Edison company had a monopoly on it, and smart people left LA. Sounds familiar. Yeah. Well, now we've got an actual governor that loves low taxes, and let's open that movie industry again. Of course, Georgia's where Walking Dead's filming and all that. I grew up with the 80s cartoons. They made them soft. They did. I love the original Turtles, though. That was a lot of fun. Anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out. I do want to do this more often. This was a lot of fun. Therapeutic, isn't it? The reason why TMNT went bank action figures was that with minor modifications, they could reissue the figures overnight. Batman does that all the time. Let's see. What do we got? Tomorrow, I'm doing an auction. Kind of have to, kids. So please show up 8 o'clock tomorrow in the evening. And let's see. Wednesday's a day with a wife. I'm pretty sure we're going to do something. We might even have a day tomorrow, but I got to be back here to do the auction. It's going to start at 8 o'clock, so come check that out. I do still have, I might go try to find something else, but I do still have the original, the big dogs for tomorrow. We've got Captain Marvel #1 here, as well as a first appearance of Taskmaster. That is a green cover, but because I've got the green screen on, that actually looks kind of cool. Anywho, there you go. We have these two. As I might try to find something else as well to throw in there as a big dog. So join us tomorrow. A lot of other good stuff. And thank you very much for hanging out with us. And as always, thank you very, very much for watching. Have a good day, kids. Not kids. I don't know where that came from. I don't know. Anywho, have a good night. That's me.